Why startup investors reject most investments. Raising money is unbelievably hard. In fact, it's so hard that the odds are about 100 to 1 against any single investor funding your startup. This means that any mistake you make pitching investors can cause you to lose a funding opportunity. In today's video, I'm going to focus on the 5 mistakes you're likely making that are causing investors to reject you after you pitch them. How you can tell you're making these mistakes and how you can fix these mistakes. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. We'll go in reverse order today, starting at number 5 on our list. Number 5, you're asking for too much money. I was speaking with the CEO of a startup literally this morning, and I asked Stephen how much money he was raising. And he said $4 million. Then I asked Stephen how long the money would last, and he said it would be 4 years until he needed to raise his next round of funding. The 4 years is a problem that I'll get back to in a second. I then asked Stephen how much revenue his startup was generating. He said they hadn't generated any revenue yet. Uh-oh. Then I asked Stephen how long he'd been raising money for, and he said 5 months. What's the feedback you're getting, I asked him. He said the only feedback he has been getting is that he needs more traction. That's not a surprise, because that's about as clear as it gets. When you've been raising money for 5 months and you're not getting any interest from investors, then there's something wrong, period. Sometimes the feedback you get from investors is worthless. However, in this case, I think Stephen was getting really valuable feedback that he's asking for too much money. Here's why I think the investors are right. Right or wrong, in today's world, you need traction to raise $4 million. Traction means you need revenue. And Stephen didn't have any revenue. This leads to the second issue, that Stephen was asking for way too much money. You want your funding to last around 18 to 24 months. If you're raising money from angel investors, the funding might last 6 months to 1 year. Yet, here was Stephen asking for a 4-year runway. Investors want you on a shorter leash than that because it reduces the capital they need to risk. Plus, a shorter runway forces you to make quicker progress. It was an instant non-starter for investors, and that's exactly the feedback that Stephen was getting. Let's move to number 4 on our list. Number 4, you're giving too much detail in your pitch. The classic mistake CEOs make pitching investors is they give way too much detail, especially technical detail. I made this mistake in my early pitches, and I kept losing my audience. You can overcorrect by giving too little information, and then your company will not be differentiated from the competition. You want to get this one just right. Remember, investors are money people. Yes, they want to understand how your product or service works, but they usually don't want a technical dissertation when you pitch them. This usually comes later in diligence. If the investor wants more detail when you pitch, believe me, they'll ask. A simple way you can test the amount of detail you're providing by pitching someone that isn't an expert in your business. This could be a friend or your spouse. Ask them if they could understand the technical details you were explaining. You're good to go if the answer is positive. You'll need to make some adjustments if the answer is negative. Now let's move on to number 3 on our list. Number 3, you're going way too fast when you pitch. It's really important to remember the bet investors make in an early stage startup usually revolves around you, the CEO. They either want to believe you're someone they want to work with, or they will not invest. Full stop. So, it's not enough to have a great investment idea. You have to impress investors too. Many first-time CEOs are just not good presenters, so they'll just read their slides. Sometimes you'll compensate by adding too much text to your deck, which is another common mistake. For example, the first time Carmen pitched to me, she got done with a 15-slide pitch in 8 minutes. That's insane. The pitch felt very superficial. It was the reverse of the previous problem of giving too much detail. At the risk of repeating myself, you'll know this is a problem if you're just reading the slides. There were 2 things I had Carmen do. The first thing was for Carmen to add value and color beyond what was on the slides. The second thing was to count to 5 between each slide, so the audience could digest what she said and Carmen could slow down. Carmen quickly made the necessary adjustments and now she's closing her funding. We're on to number 2 on our list. Number 2, you're taking too long to get to the point. Attention spans are unbelievably short. So you'll lose your audience if you take too long to explain exactly what you're doing. For example, in the first pitch deck I developed, it took me until the 9th slide, before I explained exactly what my startup was doing. And by then, I had lost my audience's interest. You'll know you've made this mistake if you are not explaining in the first 2 slides of your pitch exactly the problem you're solving and how you solve it. Finally, let's go to number 1, the number 1 reason you're not getting funding. Number 1, you're not making an emotional connection with investors at the beginning of your pitch. I know this might sound wrong to you. After all, aren't investment decisions all about the power of your idea? The reality is that an investor's emotional commitment comes before the investment commitment. So, don't overlook the importance and power of making an emotional connection with investors. You want to do this right at the start of your pitch. And the best way to do this is with an origin story. In other words, start your pitch by explaining why you decided to start your company. You want to be succinct and to the point. A well-told origin story jumpstarts the process of building an emotional connection between you and your potential investors. You can watch this video for more about origin stories. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. Here's a summary of what we've learned today. Mistake number 5. You're asking for too much money. You want your funding to last around 18 to 24 months. Mistake number 4. You're giving too much detail in your pitch. Test this by pitching someone that's not an expert in what you're doing and see if they can follow your pitch. Mistake number 3. You're going way too fast. You need to do more than just read what's on your slides. Mistake number 2. You're taking too long to get to the point. Tell investors in your first 2 slides the problem you're solving and how you solve it. And finally, mistake number 1, you're not making an emotional connection with investors at the beginning of your pitch. Start your pitch with an origin story of why you started your startup. Now, what did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now, I have one more thing for you today. It's my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below today's video, and it's yours for free. And for more great content, click on the video at the end of today's video. And if you haven't already, then click the subscribe button so you get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care. Bye.